Right now, women are giving signals that clearly mean, I'm interested, make a move. But most men completely miss them. Not once or twice, almost every time. By the time you finally realize what was happening, the moment has already passed. She has already moved on to someone who understood the signal and took action. There is one specific behavior women often show when they are attracted and ready for you to step forward. It's not hidden. It's not complicated. In fact, it happens right in front of you. Yet most men are so focused on the wrong things that they fail to notice it. Later they wonder why interest disappears, or why they keep ending up in the friend zone. Here's the surprising part. Women often communicate interest without saying a single word. Instead, they rely on small behavioral signals that humans have used in attraction for generations. Once you understand these signals, you start seeing them everywhere. And when you respond correctly, your interactions with women can change dramatically. One important principle often mentioned in philosophy is to observe what people do, not only what they say. Human behavior reveals intentions much more clearly than words. And when it comes to attraction, behavior is usually the real message. Today we're talking about one of the clearest signs of interest that many men overlook. Once you recognize it, you'll start noticing it more often, and you'll know exactly how to respond. So pay attention, because missing this signal can mean missing opportunities again and again. Let's begin. The signal many men overlook is a specific pattern of eye contact. It goes like this. She looks at you, holds eye contact a little longer than normal, looks away for a moment, and then looks back again. This isn't just a random glance. It's a sequence. First she looks. Then she holds eye contact for about 2 or 3 seconds, longer than typical social eye contact. Then she looks away. And finally, she looks back again to see if you're still paying attention. That pattern often indicates curiosity or attraction. But many men miss it entirely. Some aren't paying attention. Others notice but don't understand what it means. And some recognize it but freeze because they don't know what to do next. Understanding the psychology behind this behavior makes it much easier to recognize. Direct approaches can feel risky for many people, so subtle signals often become the first step in social interaction. Eye contact is one of the most common and natural ways humans show interest. When someone holds eye contact longer than usual, they're intentionally breaking normal social patterns. That extra second or two communicates attention. Looking away afterward helps release the tension of prolonged eye contact. Then the second look happens. That second glance is important. It's often a way of checking whether the other person noticed. If you're still looking and respond with a smile or a friendly expression, the signal has been received. But if you look away quickly or ignore the moment entirely, the opportunity often disappears. Now let's talk about why the signal is missed so often. First, many people simply aren't aware of their surroundings. They're focused on their phones, conversations, or their own thoughts. Signals happen, but they go unnoticed. Second, even when someone notices eye contact, they may dismiss it as random. They don't recognize the sequence or understand that it can indicate interest. Third, hesitation plays a huge role. Even when someone suspects there might be interest, overthinking takes over. Questions start appearing. What if I'm wrong? What if I interrupt her? What should I say? While all this thinking happens, the moment fades. This signal appears in many everyday environments. In social venues, someone might glance across the room, hold eye contact, look away, and then check again. In a gym, someone may look during a break between sets, glance away, then look back again to see if you noticed. In a cafe or public space, someone might look up from their laptop or book, hold eye contact briefly, look down again, and then glance back. In social gatherings, someone might repeatedly position themselves within your line of sight and repeat the same eye contact pattern. Once you understand the pattern, eye contact, look away, look back, you start recognizing it much more easily. And recognizing it is only the first step. The second step is responding naturally. If you catch someone holding eye contact, don't immediately look away. Maintain eye contact for a moment and smile. This shows confidence and friendliness. If the moment feels right, you can simply walk over and start a conversation. It doesn't need to be complicated. A simple introduction works perfectly. Hey, I noticed you earlier and wanted to say hello. Direct, polite, and natural. From there, the conversation can develop organically. The key point is timing. Signals like this don't last forever. Waiting too long often causes the moment to fade. When interest is mutual, small actions, eye contact, smiles, and conversation create the beginning of connection. And that connection only happens when someone is willing to take the first step. Your actions are what create the possibility of a real connection. But there's one fear that stops many men from acting, even when they recognize the signal. The fear is simple. What if I'm wrong? What if she wasn't actually showing interest? Here's the reality. When someone repeatedly holds eye contact, looks away, and then checks back again, it's rarely random. People usually don't maintain that kind of attention unless they're curious or interested. But let's assume for a moment that you misread the situation. What's the worst outcome? You approach, start a friendly conversation, and she isn't interested. In that case, you simply smile, wish her a good evening, and move on. The moment might feel slightly awkward, but it passes quickly. Now compare that with the cost of never acting. You miss the chance to connect with someone who might have wanted you to come over. You reinforce hesitation and self-doubt. And you continue repeating the same pattern of missed opportunities. When you look at it logically, the cost of acting is small. The cost of hesitation is much bigger. Another thing many people overlook is this. Confidence is usually respected. Even if someone isn't interested romantically, approaching politely and respectfully often leaves a positive impression. Social interactions naturally involve a bit of risk, and people tend to appreciate those who are willing to initiate. However, constant hesitation can make someone appear uncertain, and uncertainty often weakens attraction. So, when you evaluate the situation logically, the conclusion is simple. The risk of acting is small. The potential reward is high. And the cost of doing nothing can be significant. Now, let's talk about a deeper level of understanding this signal. Interest signals can vary in strength depending on several details. One important factor is repetition. If the eye contact sequence happens once, it may simply be curiosity. If it happens again, the likelihood of interest increases. If it keeps happening repeatedly, the message becomes much clearer. Duration also matters. 2 seconds of eye contact can indicate interest. 3 seconds often suggests stronger curiosity. 4 seconds or more usually means the person is very comfortable holding attention and hoping the moment leads somewhere. Facial expressions also strengthen the signal. Eye contact combined with a smile creates a much clearer invitation for interaction. A playful or shy smile can make the signal even more obvious. Context also plays a role. If someone sends a signal while surrounded by friends, it often means they are willing to risk social attention or teasing from their group. That usually indicates a higher level of interest. Body positioning is another important clue. Sometimes people subtly make it easier for you to approach. They may turn their body toward you, move closer to your area, or position themselves somewhere less crowded. These small adjustments remove obstacles and create a natural opening for conversation. People who become skilled at reading social signals start noticing these layers together. The stronger the signals appear, the easier it becomes to respond confidently. There's also another signal that is often missed. This one involves proximity. Sometimes direct eye contact isn't possible because of the environment, so interest is communicated by repeatedly appearing nearby. This might look like someone walking past you several times, standing next to you at a bar even when other space is available, joining a conversation happening near you, or repeatedly appearing in the same area at an event. In places like gyms or cafes, this might mean consistently choosing a spot close to where you are. When the same person appears in your space multiple times, it's often intentional rather than coincidence. Once or twice may be random, but repeated positioning usually indicates someone is creating opportunities for interaction. In these situations, the response can be simple. You might say something like, "Hey, I keep seeing you around here, so I thought I'd introduce myself." Direct, friendly, and natural. This approach acknowledges the pattern without making it awkward. Many people use subtle positioning because it allows them to signal openness while still keeping the interaction casual. If nothing happens, they can treat it as coincidence. But if you initiate conversation, the opportunity they created turns into an interaction. When you combine awareness of eye contact signals and proximity signals, you begin to notice most of the common ways people show interest. The difference between noticing these signals and missing them can dramatically change how often opportunities appear in social situations. So, let's summarize the key idea. One of the most commonly overlooked signals is this simple sequence: extended eye contact, looking away, and then looking back again. Many people miss it because they aren't paying attention, don't recognize the meaning, or hesitate to act. The best response is simple. Maintain eye contact briefly. Decide whether you want to approach. If you do, walk over calmly and introduce yourself. Keep the interaction simple and genuine. Overthinking often destroys opportunities that were actually very natural. Small moments of attention, confidence, and action can lead to meaningful connections. Most people will continue missing these signals and wondering why meeting someone feels difficult. But once you start noticing them, the situation changes. You become aware of opportunities that were always there. And when you respond naturally and confidently, conversations begin more easily. In the end, the signal is simple. The response is simple. The only real question is whether you choose to act when the moment appears.